types of fungal diseases. One is called as mycosis. Mycosis means where the fungus is actually causing the infection. Mycosis means where fungus is actually causing the infection of the body. While there are another type of fungal diseases called as mycotoxicosis. Mycotoxicosis. Mycotoxicosis means there is toxicity because of poisons produced by the fungus. Both are considered as fungal diseases, but there is one single basic difference. In mycosis, the fungus itself causes infection. In mycotoxicosis, the fungus is not causing infection but producing poisons in the feed. And when this feed is consumed or animal or bird gets exposed, they get the disease. Okay. So considering this point, we go ahead with the first disease that is called as candidiosis. Candidiosis or candidiosis. It is also called as thrush, THRUSH, when candida infection of upper digestive tract takes place. Thrush is the candida infection of upper digestive tract. Hmm. This the major contributing species is Candida albicans. Candida albicans is a mycelial yeast. Mycelial yeast. Hmm. There are other species also like Candida rugosa of Turkey. Candida rugosa of Turkey is there. These Candida species are commensals. These are commensals, normal microflora present in the body parts, digestive system, etc., and act as opportunistic pathogen. They are commensals or part of normal microflora, and they act as opportunistic pathogen. Opportunistic pathogen. Host include host range includes chicken, turkey, geese, pigeon, guinea fowls, hmm, guinea fowls, and some mammals also. Mammals also get affected. Mammals also get affected. The synonyms of this disease are like thrush. I already told you thrush, THRUSH, thrush. Crop mycosis, Crop mycosis means this disease in the if we say upper digestive tract of birds, one of the important part of upper digestive tract is the crop of the bird. So crop mycosis, uh, sore crop, sore crop. Then this disease has also been called as moniliasis sometimes. Moniliasis, a not very common name. Just try to remember candidiosis, thrush, sore crop, and crop mycosis. The clinical signs. Before going to clinical signs, we have to understand the younger birds and immunosuppressed birds are more affected. Younger birds and immunosuppressed birds are more affected. The birds which are immunosuppressed. And older birds they generally get less affected until and unless very severe immunosuppression is there. Older birds get very less affected until and unless very severe immunosuppression is there. Or and even if they get affected, their recovery is better. Recovery is better while younger birds show mortality. Younger bird shows mortality. Clinical signs. The birds show poor growth. Clinical signs include the birds shows poor growth. They are listless, poor growth, listless, stunted appearance, poor growth, listless, stunted appearance, rough feathers, rough and ruffled feathers, rough and ruffled feathers. Generally, young flocks show the clinical signs. Generally, younger flock shows the clinical signs. There has to be presence of, generally, not there has to be, but generally, there is presence of a predisposing immunosuppressive disease. Generally, there is presence of a predisposing immunosuppressive disease on which this fungus grows, on this because of which the fungus grows. One important predisposing factor is prolonged use of antibiotics. One very important excuse me, one very important predisposing factor for this candidiosis is use of antibiotics, prolonged use of antibiotics. You can very well correlate this whole condition of use of immunosuppressive drugs or presence of immunosuppressive disease with present condition what we are seeing in this outbreak of black fungus and white fungus, isn't it? It is very similar to that. Whenever there is immunosuppression, suppose when a patient is suffering from COVID and the patient is treated with steroids and the immunosuppressive drugs like Remdesivir, which is an antiviral drug, then in such condition there is always chance of secondary opportunistic infection like fungal diseases, like we heard about black fungus and white fungus. Okay, so in such cases also in chicken also prolonged use of antibiotics or any immunosuppressive disease, these conditions are seen. However, this use of steroid in chicken or birds is very rare, very rare. So it is not considered as a predisposing factor for development of fungal disease. However, in any condition when this is um, in any condition or any experimentation, if prolonged use of steroid is there, then chicken also gets fungus because of steroid or other immunosuppressive diseases. Very similar effects. So lesions are seen in the oral mucosa, in the cloacal orifice, but the most common lesion is seen in the crop. Whether it is there in the oral mucosa or not, whether it is there in the cloacal mucosa or not, that is secondary. That is not very common. But yes, you can get that. You have to differentiate with other diseases. But worst affected part with this fungus is the crop. Crop shows white, raised, circular lesions. White, raised, circular lesions with curd-like pseudomembranous patches. With curd, C-U-R-D, curd what we eat. Whitish raised circular lesions with curd-like pseudomembranous patches which are easily peeled, which are easily peeled off, which are easily peeled off, leaving behind eroded mucosal surface, leaving behind eroded mucosal surface. Excuse me. The crop shows whitish raised circular lesions with curd-like pseudomembranous patches which are easily peeled off, leaving behind eroded mucosal surface. Now these lesions can be can extend up to the esophagus, beginning of esophagus, and down up to the proventriculus. Down up to the proventriculus. Now proventriculus becomes swollen with glassy serosa. Proventriculus becomes swollen with glassy or glossy. Glassy or glossy means it becomes reflective, shining serosa. It is edematous. And there are hemorrhages uh, with catarrh or necrotic exudate. and there are hemorrhages in the proventriculus with catarrhal or necrotic exudate. Hmm. If skin is affected, if skin is affected, then there is feather loss and the dermatitis of the superficial layers. There is loss of feathers and dermatitis of the superficial layers. Dermatitis of the superficial layers. Microscopic findings include that the crop, esophagus, the oral mucosa, even up to the proventriculus, if it is affected, the affected part, whatever the affected part is, that there is colonization of yeast up to the stratum corneum, typically in the esophagus and crop. The esophagus and crop, they have some part stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, and up to stratum corneum, or as deep as maximum, or I should say deepest to stratum spinosum, we find the yeast colonization. Stratum corneum, and as deep as stratum spinosum, we find the yeast colonization. Overall, the mucosal surface, whether it is in the skin or in the esophagus, the the mucosal surfaces which are affected will show extensive presence of necrotic debris with infiltration of leukocytes. Necrotic debris with infiltration of leukocytes. The necrotic debris and the mucosa, necrotic debris and mucosa will show presence of yeast cells and hyphae. Necrotic debris and mucosa will show presence of yeast cells and hyphae. Huh? I should say pseudo hyphae, not hyphae. Pseudo hyphae. Pseudo hyphae is there. The skin and the mucosa, the skin and mucosa may show parakeratotic hyperkeratosis. Parakeratotic hyperkeratosis. If you remember parakeratosis, orthokeratosis, hyperkeratosis, you have to please read these definitions. है ना? Parakeratosis, hyperkeratosis. So parakeratotic hyperkeratosis are seen. Diagnosis of this disease is by staining of the samples collected from oral mucosa or from crop mucosa. Sorry, from the samples from the crop mucosa after postmortem, or skin samples for demonstration of presence of yeast cells and pseudohyphae. Yeast cells and pseudohyphae, because it is yeast, so it does not produce true hyphae. It produces pseudohyphae. So diagnosis is by staining with Gomori's methenamine silver stain. Gomori or Grocott. Gomori or Grocott's methenamine silver stain. Pass staining, or and isolation of the fungus on seborrheic dextrose agar. Any doubt, anybody? Anything you want to ask?
So what is the first stain? Gomori something?
Gomori's methenamine. methanamine, methenamine silver stain. Or there is another similar method, Grocotts, Grocotto apostrophe s, Grocotts, Gomori's or Grocotts methenamine silver stain. The fungal hyphae and fungal yeast cells are very nicely demonstrated with help of silver staining. They stain black with silver staining, and they stain the magenta purplish in with help of PAS, especially in histopathological sections. All right. And
Sir, can
STS
you
abroad. Yes, yes.
So can you please repeat the parakeratotic part?
Parakeratotic, Parakeratotic. Parakeratosis is a kind of skin disease. Huh? Parakeratosis is a kind of, there are different types of hyperkeratosis. Hyperkeratosis means thickening of the skin layer or superficial layers, huh? Especially in parts where the squamous epithelium etc. is there, or in metaplasia also it is seen hyperkeratosis. Huh? Just you understand that the keratin layer is thickened. There are different types of keratosis. Two important ones are orthokeratosis, where there is uniform thickening of the skin, and then there is parakeratosis, where there is non-uniform thickening of the skin. You better study it from Ganti Shastri book once. Ganti Shastri book has given very nice description of this. है ना? Okay, so this is parakeratotic hyperkeratosis. Para means false. Para means false or wrong. Okay. Parakeratotic hyperkeratosis, especially on the skin infection or oral mucosa infection, this is seen.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. Yes, anyone else? Shall we go ahead? Okay. Then there is dermatophytosis, also called as FAVUS, 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 or ringworm or white comb. Dermatophytosis, PHY. Although it is mycosis, but it is called as phytosis, PHY. Huh? Dermatophytosis, also called as FAVUS, 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 or white comb disease, or ringworm of chicken. Ringworm of chicken. The etiology is Microsporum gallinae. Microsporum gallinae. Microsporum gallinae is the etiology of this disease. Transmission is by contact with infected birds. Superficial contact with the infected birds. You understand this? This microsporum is an example of trichophyton, which are causing ringworms in human beings, and they are rampant. They are present everywhere. So transmission is by contact with infected birds. Host include birds and human beings. Host includes birds and human beings. Grossly, we see white, scaly, crusty lesions on comb and skin of head. White, scaly, crusty lesions. White, scaly, crusty lesions on comb, skin of head, neck, and also loss of feathers. White, scaly, crusty lesions on comb, skin of head, neck, and loss of feathers. The microscopic findings include this fungus is limited to epidermis. Skin surface appears thickened by orthokeratotic hyperkeratosis. The disease or the fungus is limited to epidermis, and skin surface appears thickened because of orthokeratotic hyperkeratosis. Orthokeratosis means uniform thickening. All layers will be thickened. Uniform thickening is there. There is heterophil infiltration with presence of mycelia in the skin. There is heterophil infiltration below the skin, and there are fungal mycelia present in the affected part. Fungal mycelia present in the affected part. Later on, there is infiltration by the macrophages and lymphocytes. Infiltration by mononuclear cells, which comprise of macrophages and the lymphocytes. The feather follicles show presence of mycelial colonization. The feather follicles show presence of mycelial colonization. Okay. Diagnosis is by skin scraping examination. Skin scraping examination. Please remember the the skin fungal diseases in all animals can be diagnosed by skin scraping examination, in which what we do, we scratch out some of the skin. We scratch out some of the skin, whether it is fungal disease or it is the say mite infection. For both, we scrap out the skin. We digest the skin in by boiling in 10% KOH, potassium hydroxide. We digest the keratin by boiling in 10% potassium hydroxide, hmm, and we directly mount and see under the directly mount and see under the microscope with the help of say lactophenol cotton blue, with help of lactophenol cotton blue, to show presence of the hyphae, to show presence of the hyphae or fungal structures. Okay, skin scraping examination by digesting it in the 10% KOH by boiling and visualizing the digested mass under microscope with lactophenol cotton blue. One of the important part. So we say skin scraping examination. Simply we say skin scraping examination. Then histopathology by PAS, by Gomoris or Grocott's methenamine silver. The histopathology by PAS or Gomoris or Grocott's methenamine silver, and culture on the Sebrot's dextrose agar. Culture on Sebrot's dextrose agar. Hmm? Any confusion till now? Any confusion in this? Okay. We go to next disease. Next disease. This is very important systemic disease. Very important systemic disease. It is seen very regularly in field. Apart all those fungal diseases what we have seen, one of the most commonly encountered is Brooder pneumonia. Brooder pneumonia. Hmm? Brooder pneumonia, also called as mycotic pneumonia. Mycotic pneumonia or respiratory aspergillosis. Respiratory aspergillosis. The etiology includes etiology includes Aspergillus species, fungus of Aspergillus genus. So Aspergillus species like Aspergillus fumigatus, very common is Aspergillus fumigatus, Fumigatus, Aspergillus fumigatus, and Aspergillus flavus, Flavus, Aspergillus flavus, Aspergillus fumigatus, and Aspergillus flavus, and also Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus Niger, Niger, Aspergillus niger. These are common saprophytes. These are common saprophytic fungi. These are common saprophytic fungi. Young pigs, the ducklings, even even susceptible or
Your voice is breaking.
voice is better now.
Yes, sir.
It's better. Up to what point you could listen?
So up to etiology.
Aspergillus fumigatus, Aspergillus flavus, and Aspergillus niger, minor species. These are saprophytes. These are common saprophytes. The host include newly hatched chicks of the chicken, newly hatched chicks, or ducklings, and the turkey poults. And under conditions of stress, under condition of stress, even adult birds can show it. Adult birds can show it. The predisposing factors include the stress, managemental stress, cold weather, cold weather, cold weather, excess ammonia, dust, excess ammonia, dust, and strong vaccine strains of Ranicate disease. Strong or virulent vaccine strains of Ranicate disease. These are these are the major predisposing factors. Apart from that, major mismanagement is use of wet feed and litter. Use of wet feed and litter where the fungus grows. Saprophytic fungus will grow. Use of wet feed and litter where the saprophytic fungus will grow. Hmm? Keeping waterers and brooder together. Where the waterer and brooder are together, fungus grows very fast. If waterer is kept nearby brooder, so what happens? The brooder will give good hot temperature. Waterer always leads to some spillage in the litter material. So because of this, fungus grows very well on the litter. Fungus grows very well on the litter. So consequently, there is there is overwhelming presence of spores of Aspergillus species. Overwhelming presence of spores of Aspergillus species. So whenever we have a farm, chicken farm, the the brooder is to be kept sufficiently away from the waterers and feeders, wherever the fungal growth can take place. Okay. Otherwise, also some amount of spores are there. Under if all management is all right, if there is immunosuppression or respiratory stress, then this disease can occur. The virulence factors. Virulence factor includes toxin, that is gliotoxin. GLIO, gliotoxin. Virulence factor includes gliotoxin, especially Aspergillus fumigatus produces this. Aspergillus fumigatus produces this. And then there is presence of proteases which dissolve the tissue to help growth of fungus, which dissolve the tissue which help growth of fungus. So this disease is transmitted by spores. The spores grow on the dead decaying matter or feed or litter. Hmm? The spores grow on dead decaying matter or on the litter and feed. And these spores are spread in the farm. Spores are spread in the farm, and they can also penetrate the eggshell. These spores can penetrate the eggshell in the hatchery, and infected chicks are born. Infected chicks are hatched. Infected chicks are hatched. And such infected chicks also infect other chicks, healthy chicks present in the farm. Even under conditions of very good hygiene, such infected chicks can spread the spores. All right. So the disease can be spread by the spores present in the environment or in the farm, or the disease can also be spread by congenitally infected chicks. Hmm? In very good farms, congenitally infected chick will come, it will spread the spores. Okay. Now, the pathology of this disease, the inhaled spores, the inhaled spores get lost in the lungs, in the air sac, in the pneumatic bones. Lungs, air sac, and in the pneumatic bones. And there they can produce granulomatous lesions. When they hatch, when the spores germinate, they produce granulomatous lesions. Very much like tuberculosis. Okay, granulomatous lesions with presence of the necrotic core where the mycelia is growing, presence of necrotic core where the mycelia is growing, surrounded by the epithelioids and lymphocytes, surrounded by epithelioids and lymphocytes, and also giant cell. Not Langerhans giant cell. Langerhans giant cell is characteristic of TB only. Okay, simple. Foreign body giant cell. है ना? Foreign body giant cell. Foreign body giants because foreign body means this mycelia is considered as foreign body. Foreign body giant cell, and also proliferation of extensive connective tissue around it. Proliferation of extensive connective tissue around this. Likewise, the disease is uh, is developed into the respiratory tract. These spores also enter blood vessels and spread to other parts of body. The spores also enter the blood vessels and spread to other parts of body where they again form the granulomatous lesion. Where they again form the granulomatous lesions. Other part of body can include meninges, eyes. Other parts of body can include meninges, eyes, the visceral organs and serosa, visceral organs and serosa. So everywhere in the body, these spores can spread and cause the disease. Spores can spread and cause the disease. The clinical signs are dependent on lesion affected organ. Clinical signs depend on lesion affected organs. Mostly it is the respiratory tract. Mostly it is respiratory tract. So we see dyspnea, the difficulty in breathing and labored breathing, polynia. That is increase in respiratory rate. Polynia, increase in respiratory rate. Dyspnea, polynia, gasping without sound. Gasping without sound. The bird is trying to get air. Stunted growth, lethargy, stunted growth, lethargy. If it is eye, then we see conjunctivitis and blindness. If it is eye, conjunctivitis and blindness. If it is meninges, then torticollis and nervous signs. If these are meninges, then we see torticollis and nervous signs. The typical mortality pattern in Brooder pneumonia affected farm is biphasic. The typical mortality pattern in Brooder pneumonia affected farm is biphasic. It's biphasic. There is initial acute mortality of 50%. There is initial acute mortality of 50%. Then there is gradual chronic mortality of 5%, slow mortality. So when there is outbreak, almost 50% mortality is seen in the farm. And then the mortality will subside. The resistant birds will survive. But slowly, they also start dying. And about 5% mortality is seen in the due course of the farm, where here and there birds keep on dying. All right. The dead birds, whether acute or chronic, the dead birds reveal the gross findings or postmortem findings. The dead birds reveal white miliary foci of granulomas. White miliary means millet-like, small pearl-like. White miliary foci of granulomas in the affected organs. These are caseous nodules. These miliary foci are caseous nodules. These can be present. These can be present in lungs, air sac, pneumatic bones, lungs, air sac, pneumatic bones, meninges, kidney, liver, eye, any part where the spore gets lost, any part where the spore gets lost. The spore have fungal mycelia present inside them. Sorry, the spore, the nodules have the fungal mycelia present inside them. The dead birds may show blockage of trachea with exudate. The dead birds may also show blockage of trachea with exudate, excessive exudate that blocks the trachea. Histopathology. Histopathology. The air's affected air sac are thickened with presence of granulomas. The affected air sacs are thickened with presence of granulomas. The granuloma in lungs and other parts, the granuloma in lungs and other parts show central necrotic core with presence of mycelia, central necrotic core with presence of growing fungus, mycelia, surrounded by the initially heterophil and later on, initially heterophil and in later stages, the epithelioids and giant cells and fibrous connective tissue. Epithelioids, lymphocytes, giant cells, epithelioid, lymphocytes and giant cells and fibrous connective tissue. Hmm? The the lungs may also show presence of pleuritis, granulomatous pleuritis, granulomatous pleuritis. The diagnosis is by demonstration of hypha by 10% KOH digestion, by 10% KOH digestion of the granuloma. Fungal hypha demonstration by the 10% KOH digestion by boiling, hmm, and then demonstration of hypha by lactophenol cotton blue. Lactophenol cotton blue. Then histopathology is very characteristic. Histopathology HND staining is very characteristic to demonstrate presence of fungal hyphae. Fungal hyphae can be confirmed with Gomory's or Grocott's methenamine silver staining and PA staining, periodic acid shift staining. Gomory's or Grocott's methenamine silver staining or PA staining. Isolation is again Sebrod's dextrose agar. Sebrod's dextrose agar. Differential diagnosis from all granuloma forming diseases. Differential diagnosis from all granuloma forming diseases like the JS disease, colibacillosis, fowl cholera, mm, tuberculosis, then Staphylococcus aureus associated abscess, Staphylococcus aureus associated abscess, mycoplasmosis for air sac, beaded appearance of air sac, mycoplasmosis, and also pullorum disease, also pullorum disease. Any doubt till now? Anything you want to ask? Any doubt? Yes? No. Then we go to mycotoxicosis. Mycotoxicosis. Now these are disease caused by consuming fungal toxins. Fungus is not causing any infection here. In mycotoxicosis, there is no infection by the fungus. It is only the poison that is consumed which causes the infection. Poison that is consumed that causes the infection. All right. Now, the first important one is aflatoxicosis. Aflatoxin etiology are once again Aspergillus flavus. Aspergillus flavus. FLAVUS. In fact, aflatoxin was named after Aspergillus flavus. A from Aspergillus, FLA from the flavus. Aspergillus flavus, then Aspergillus parasiticus and Penicillium puberulam. Penicillium puberulam. Aspergillus flavus, Aspergillus parasiticus, and Penicillium puberulam. These are the three important fungi. There are numerous fungi which produce aflatoxin. There is a long list of fungi that produce aflatoxin, but most common are these three: Aspergillus flavus, Aspergillus parasiticus, and Penicillium puberulam. Fungus produces toxins at high temperature and high humidity. High temperature and high humidity. It will grow on the feed. It will grow on the feed and lead to It will grow on the feed and lead to infection or lead to production of toxins. Lead to production of toxins. The four types of fungal toxins are describes B1, B2, and G1, G2. B1, B2, G1, and G2. B1 is produced most. B1 is produced most, and it is most toxic. B1 is produced most, and it is most toxic. Here B stands for blue and G stands for green. The under ultraviolet light, this toxin gives blue fluorescence or green fluorescence. Accordingly, they have been given name as B1, B2, and G1, G2. B stands for blue and G stands for green. And these toxins are very, very stable, very stable, and as low as 1 ppm. As low as 1 ppm, they can produce their toxic effect. Hmm? 1 ppm, they can produce their acute toxic effect. Acute toxic effect, and they in the normal chicken, their level has been described as 20 parts per billion. In chicken, their level should not be more than 20 parts per billion, not million, है ना? ppb, 20 parts per billion. And for broilers, even lower that. Broilers can get affected even at the lower dose. Even at the lower dose. The most susceptible species are ducks. Most susceptible species to aflatoxin are ducks. Most susceptible species to aflatoxin are ducks. Okay. Any doubt till now? Anything?
So the 20 parts per million from that layers
20,
and
20
broilers.
ppb, 20 ppb, billion, not million, billion. ppm
So
नहीं, ppb. 20.
for broilers,
हाँ, for broilers it is even lower than that, 20 ppb. Even lower levels can affect the broiler chicken. Okay, okay.
so thank you, sir.
And any level at parts per million, ppm, any level can cause acute toxicity given the conditions. है ना? Any level in parts per million can cause acute toxicity. Okay. So uh, the pathology is that after ingestion, this toxin is biotransformed to highly active metabolite in the liver. Highly reactive metabolite in the epoxy derivatives, EPOXY, epoxy derivatives in the liver. This is called as lethal synthesis. This is called as lethal synthesis in the liver. So the toxin that is absorbed is less poisonous. It is poisonous, but less poisonous. But in liver cells, instead of making the poison less harmful and excreting out, the liver enzymes convert it into highly reactive free radicals, epoxy derivatives, epoxy free radicals. Okay, highly reactive free radicals. So these free radicals, first of all, affect the liver itself. One of the worst affected organ with aflatoxin is the liver. The primary affected organs with the damaged organ with aflatoxin is the liver. Liver itself. And these metabolites, they react with DNA, they react with RNA, they damage the protein. The whole cellular system is affected by this affected reactive metabolites. They damage the DNA, RNA, and protein, and this leads to extreme immunosuppression, cell death, extreme immunosuppression, cell death, bone marrow suppression, all parts of body, the gametes, etc. Everything is affected by this. Everything is affected by this. So, even in the acute stages where the acute cell death is taking place, the low grade chronic exposure also causes the damage to the cells. Also causes damage to the cells. The The clinical signs are poor FCR, poor growth, poor production, poor FCR. The clinical signs include poor FCR, poor growth, and poor production. The birds show anemia, immunosuppression, immunosuppression is shown by the increase in secondary bacterial infections. Increase in secondary bacterial infections. Immunosuppression, poor body pigmentation, poor body pigmentation, poor egg production, and poor hatchability. Poor egg production and poor hatchability. The clotting time is increased and bruises are seen frequently. Clotting time is increased and bruises are seen frequently. Bruises are seen frequently. The males show reduced sperm count. The male birds show reduced sperm count. Okay. The the uh, gross lesions in acute toxicity include gross lesions in acute toxicity include hepatomegaly, hepatomegaly with yellow friable liver, hepatomegaly with yellow friable liver, splenomegaly, splenomegaly, kidney enlargement, atrophy of all primary and secondary lymphoid organs. Atrophy of all primary and secondary lymphoid organs like bursa, thymus, and even the spleen can show atrophy after splenomegaly. After increase in size, the spleen may also show atrophy in later stages. The, the reproductive organs appear atrophied and dysfunctional. The reproductive organs like testis and ovary appear regressed and dysfunctional. The organs may show increased petechial hemorrhages and bruises on the skin. Organs may show increased petechial hemorrhages and bruises on skin. Hmm. Capillaries become fragile. Capillaries become fragile. Hmm. Microscopic finding: the liver shows fatty change. Liver shows fatty change and necrosis. Liver shows fatty change and necrosis. The kidney shows tubular degeneration. Kidneys show tubular degeneration and lymphoid organs depletion. Lymphoid organs depletion. Lymphoid organs show depletion. The in chronic cases, liver shows biliary hyperplasia and cirrhosis. In chronic cases, the liver shows biliary hyperplasia and cirrhosis. Biliary hyperplasia and cirrhosis. The diagnosis is made by demonstration of poison in the field by chromatography, by HPLC, है ना? By HPLC or ELISA. Diagnosis of feed is made by HPLC or by ELISA. Presence of poison in the feed can be done by this or feeding trial. The the suspected feed is given to susceptible birds like ducklings. Feeding trial on ducklings. है ना? So ducklings immediately die with showing the clinical and gross lesions, है ना? With clinical signs and gross lesions. Apart from that, changing of feed immediately leads to subsiding of the clinical signs. Change of feed immediately leads to subsiding of clinical signs. This itself is a major diagnostic point of presence of mycotoxin. Okay, presence of mycotoxin. Any doubt till now? Yes?
Sir, please
Okay.
repeat the diagnosis.
Diagnosis is made by demonstration of poison in the feed by HPLC, high performance layer or high pressure layer chromatography or high performance layer chromatography, HPLC, or by ELISA. Then the uh, use of susceptible birds to conduct the feeding trial. We take some of the suspected feed and give it to ducklings. Ducklings will die and show the clinical signs and also the liver lesions, liver, kidney, etc. The gross lesions. First important, the feeding trial. Then the diagnosis itself is confirmed not only for aflatoxin but for any mycotoxin. As we change the field, we change the field, the affected flock will start becoming normal. The affected flock will become normal. That itself is a diagnosis that the feed what we were using actually contains the mycotoxin inside them. All right. Yes. Any confusion? No. So we begin with next disease, ochratoxicosis. OCHRA, ochratoxicosis. Okay. OCHRATOXICOSIS, ochratoxicosis. Ochratoxicosis is caused by Aspergillus ochraceus. Aspergillus ochraceus. Aspergillus OCHRACEUS. Aspergillus ochraceus. OCHRACEUS. Aspergillus ochraceus and Penicillium veridicatum. Hmm? Penicillium veridicatum. 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 Penicillium veridicatum. These are two important uh, fungus associated with ochratoxin. Although there are numerous ones, no? But these are two important ones. This is the second most important toxin occurring in the field. After aflatoxin, this is the second most important mycotoxin occurring in the field. There are four types of ochratoxin. Ochratoxin A, B, C, and D. Ochratoxin A, B, C, and D, where ochratoxin A is most common. Ochratoxin A is most common in the field. Hmm? The host includes chicken, especially young birds. Ducks are very susceptible. Ducks are more susceptible than chicken. Like aflatoxin, ducks are more susceptible for ochratoxin also. The chicken, ducks, hmm, quails and turkeys are also very susceptible than the chicken. Quails and turkeys are also very susceptible than the chicken. The the aflatox pathology of ochratoxin, pathology of ochratoxin. This ochratoxin affects the kidney and liver. Affects the kidney and liver and other body parts also. If I say aflatoxin affects more it will affect the liver and less kidney and the other organs, followed by other organs. If I say ochratoxin, ochratoxin will affect kidney more than the liver and then followed by the other organs. Okay. But in both aflatoxin and ochratoxin, kidney and liver are worst affected. Hmm? These two organs are worst affected. So if I say aflatoxin, primary lesions are in the liver and then number two is kidney. And if I say ochratoxin, primary lesions are in the kidney and number two is liver. And followed by other organs. So it produces the the acute necrosis of PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, acute necrosis in the kidney, and which leads to less secretion of uric acid. It leads to less secretion of uric acid and gout. Less secretion of uric acid and gout. Okay. The liver is also affected. Liver is also affected. There is hepatocellular necrosis. Hepatocellular necrosis. The lymphoid organs show depletion and therefore immunosuppression is there. The lymphoid organs show depletion and therefore immunosuppression is there. The, the clinical signs include depression. The clinical signs include depression, polyuria, and renal failure. Depression, polyuria, renal failure, poor growth, poor production, poor growth, poor production, loss of product pigmentation, loss of pigmentation, anemia, anemia, increased clotting time and bruises, anemia, increased clotting time and bruises, hmm? the the delay in sexual maturity, the delay in puberty actually, है ना, in layer birds, delay in puberty in layer birds, the wet droppings with stained eggs stained with feces, wet droppings with eggs stained with feces, hmm? And the overall production is down. Overall production is poor. Overall production is poor. The gross lesions include, okay, time is less, so I will not start with the gross and histopathology. We will continue with this in tomorrow's class. Any doubt till now? Anything you want to ask? Okay, then I conclude this class here itself. We will tomorrow resume this class from the same point, and I'll try to post